Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you about what happened this week. Oh, we attended Turku Animation Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of wanted to kind of go over your experience with this and how it went
Mm-hmm.
for you. Yeah. So how was it for you?
That was cool. I feel like it's been a while since we've been to like a film festival, right?
Yeah.
Since we were back in Canada, and that was still like 2 years ago from now, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities. I mean, to all of it, it's like everyone was speaking English, so it felt actually.
It was kind of weird that they had to speak English even though everyone's finished
It
here.
kind of felt bad, yeah, because everyone's finished, but they all spoke English for the international, so.
Also, I did a hell of a workout for my legs right now, so I'm mentally disabled.
Mentally, you're mentally disabled.
Yeah,
even though you worked out your leg.
I know. I worked so hard, my leg just shut down.
Oh, your brain shut down, or your legs shut down your brain.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole combination. And also, you're making food, so it smells really good. So I'm really
Plus one.
okay. Let's do this conversation.
Yeah, we get through this so we can eat.
Yeah. No, that's actually one of the reasons I kind of wanted to continue having conversation, because we took kind of break for 2 weeks, and it was under the skies that we got new mics, so we were like exploring them. But actually, it's kind of really hard to make content every week. So I don't know.
I feel like it's just consistency. I feel like once you get into a rhythm, like anything else, like it becomes.
Okay, yeah. Do your robot key thing.
No, but really, because I recently started doing the calorie counting tracking stuff, which I hate. Like I always hated the idea of it. I still hate the idea of it. Like it's awful. It's horrible. But like once you just make it a habit of like, okay, every time I pick up a fucking apple, I have to weigh it and put it in my tracker on my phone, and it's like, it's like sometimes when I'm so tired, it's like so obnoxious, but like you still kind of do it because it's like you just do it every time, right?
It's true.
So I feel like, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that stops us from like just doing the recordings for these videos is like, oh, we don't have the right, we're not like topic to talk about, or like, what do we even have to say, or
Like
is anyone even gonna watch
it's
it,
like a
or
jazzed thing where I'm like, okay, I'm excited to talk about this thing, and I'm like, okay, I can ready to talk, unless I'm experiencing that, I just don't want to talk.
don't want to, yeah. Exactly.
But
yeah.
even though it's like, that's why, although in this situation, I wanted to kind of to talk, because I realized like, okay, because Turku Animation Film Festival is Finnish film festival, right? The animation film festival, and presenters were Finnish. So in that realm, Finnish presenters is very kind of Nordic stoic, very slow people to talk, and I almost like was tearing out my hairs trying to like be like, come on, dog.
But it's also like it's also a second language. So God, like imagine me like speaking French. Oh my God, or something like that. You know, like I would be so slow, right? So it's like the fact that like all of a sudden they have to switch, and then also I think like it's different when you talk like about something technical, right? In a second language.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot harder, because a lot of the words,
like terminology
isn't exactly the same, or like to explain it, especially if it's like artistry, because maybe they're talking about like a sensibility or like a feeling, right, or a sensation. And I feel like a lot of like cultural words explain feelings, like right, versus like when you try to translate it, especially it doesn't make any sense. And Finnish actually, it has like a lot of like what do you even call them? They're like it's not even a sentence, but like strings of, or like a word, but it has like multiple words in it that, and the whole thing together means something. And it's often like,
it's not poetry, but it's like a weird way to put things. It's like remember the video that we watched on Instagram about I think a Finnish guy translating directly into English, and it sounds like just
like jibber jabber.
Jibber jabber.
It makes no sense, but because all of it has a sort of meaning. So I feel like there's a lot of that as well when it comes to these festivals. But I know what you mean in terms of like cadence and like pacing, because like people here tend to be a little bit more like careful with their words, and like, or at least I don't know, that's the feeling, that it's just a bit more like okay, thoughtful and slower. Whereas like in North America, when you go to conferences, it's like, oh, hey guys, it's kind of almost too much, right?
I mean,
It's
like I kind of enjoy it honestly,
I
and
mean,
my
that's
my
like,
own
yeah, yeah, yeah.
my own
Your own
personality.
sensibility.
No, but
Yeah.
it's like I feel like it's really important to be able to talk about subject matter that is like animation or presented in certain way.
Yeah,
Because I feel
definitely,
like half of this is work, yes, but another half is ability to have a conversation about it.
yeah. Well, I think it's even like, yeah, like I feel like the conversation point is really good. Like when you're, okay, maybe up on stage is a bit different because you have like a whole crowd of people, so I can imagine that like affects you in a different way.
That's true.
But I feel like being able to like coherently string together your thoughts and feelings about the thing that you're doing or working on is important. And I understand that's like really hard for actually a lot of artists because you spend more time doing it than thinking about doing it,
That's true,
right?
yeah.
So it's like when somebody all of a sudden asks you, is like, okay, so like, why did you make the bunny? I don't know, pink, and you're like,
Just did it.
yeah, you're like, I don't know, I had this pink thing, but like when, yeah, I feel like if you actually spend time like thinking about, okay, why do I, even if the reason you make the decision is like, I like pink, like whatever, like
Yeah,
doesn't matter,
exactly.
but like the fact that like, okay, you thought about how that happened.
No, because I feel like animation for me is like this big part of it is communication. Any sort of art technically is there, right?
Yeah.
So another portion of if people want to dive in more into like appreciating or communicating through your animation or films, another aspect of it is actually verbal communication, where you like explain, talk, ponder, and
Well,
like
especially like
entertain people.
yeah, or especially
about your work.
festivals, right? Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's usually the reason for a festival is to bring a whole bunch of people together and exhibit sort of the work that has been done, right?
Yeah.
And then people go to them to understand, okay, why did these people make this work and how did they make this work? And so being able to communicate that.
Exactly. No, but that's why I was thinking about it as like a separate skill.
Yeah.
And I want to continue kind of developing that skill, being more able to kind of communicate or maybe even think deeper about things that you do and why you're doing this, and be more kind of retrospective about your process and like what's happening with you.
I don't know if we really lack that. I feel like at this moment in time,
I think we do it too much.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
But for me, okay, like
I feel like
me,
in this moment, what we lack is making stuff, because we're like, we're gonna talk about making stuff.
no, but like I really enjoy that aspect of like retrospection. I really enjoy that, and then whenever you have a fine, like a great retrospective person's view on creating this thing, you like, I really like it's food, like for me. I really like enjoy when people put it in a communicate about the process of art making in such a interesting and or unique way that's unique to them, because obviously their perception is different than mine, so it should be unique. That it's like I can grab onto it and kind of create some new ideas for myself. Even because even for me, like from one of the interesting things that happen out of this festival is that I went to, because we did like a TAFF Pro thing, which is like if you're a professional industry, you get a discount, and also you get to go to the lectures by professional artists. And yeah, because I attended just one lecture. I didn't want to go because I was working. I was like, no, I'm so behind the work. I should just like continue working. But my coworker was like, no, you gotta go with me. I'm like, okay, fine. So I went, and like he was communicating about he's a scriptwriter, so it's a different aspect of art making. And he was talking about like making of like the process he uses in order to create scripts for like comedies, TV shows, doesn't matter, like feature films. And it was incredibly boring. Like no, it's like I understand, because the guy knows what he's talking about. Like he's like very good at it. From especially considering that he wrote for things that I actually heard of, and and he actually edited quite a bit for the TV show that I'm working right now, and the scripts that I read were quite well written. So I was like, wow, this guy knows what she's doing. But like when he was putting it into like he's obsessed with structure, and like when he was putting into the in the presentation, well, obviously first of all it's a second language, so of course it's way harder, and like and the pace is, but he was like through a lot of like information, like almost like a lecture, like if you saw like a lecture classes, and it's like, man, it's like it just like went over my head, and it's like maybe if you like in the sauce and you like really
it
like
could be also hyper specific to maybe like screenwriters, right, or like people like who are really that sort of, they communicate that way, right? Like that their method of communication is being like super, I don't know,
specific about it. But even then, like attending that thing was really interesting because I was like, I just had like a kind of revelation for myself. Is like all the things that he was describing is about like ultimately like little tricks and tips how to make a viewer or reader or whoever consumer of your media care for the character. Like it's all like a long strong formulas about how to make a person care for the characters and therefore care what's happening in the story.
Right.
So, and for me it was like, yeah, it's like kind of like straightforward. You just make shit that you hope that other people care for. Like recently we've been watching quite a bit of Bear.
Oh
yeah, the TV show. And like I hate this drama shit. Like I don't, it's not my thing. I like happy go lucky kind of storytelling.
You like K-drama, so that's like
okay. But K-drama is kind of more funny.
But it still has that like extreme
a little bit
drama,
but also it's like hilarious. It's not like serious. But and also I watch them when I'm like, oh, I need that emotional spice. but comparative, comparative.
It's like, really, for me, I describe it as intense.
Yeah, right? It's like intense experience.
It has, like it really, like it captures like being in the kitchen and makes you feel like you're right there. So you're kind of like, when you finish an episode, you're like, God, I need to like relax and cleanse myself.
Watch some with Sunny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so bouncing between Sunny Philadelphia and Bear. But it just going back to that, it's like you really care for those characters. I don't know how the fuck they did this. Like you felt like you manipulated viewer who just got dragged along through the journey of those characters, and you just like really care for them. Like you really like almost like feeling what they're feeling, you know. And it's like great acting, great like script writing.
But I feel like it might also be due to that intensity, because like even if you don't, like maybe not at first, right? Like at first, like it's kind of depend. It also depends who you are. Some people, well, maybe that's going to be way too much, but like because you're feeling that intensity, you're kind of already drawn into their world, right? And their show and the character, and you imagine kind of, okay, this intensity is what they're feeling. So I feel like that's a great way actually to promote. Is that a good way to say it? But like promote like empathy for characters, right? Is that intensity? So I feel like that's also kind of why it was.
It's like also one really of, but also it's basically one of the, let's say, formulas or tricks to use in order for viewers to care for their characters. But regardless, for me, I like, that's one of the examples where you like almost unwillingly care for those characters, right? With all the flaws and all the like intensity and maybe even a pleasant way of behavior, right? But so for me, it's like was interesting recognizing that it's most important thing, because even for me, who doesn't like this like subject matter or like doesn't really care about like this particular style, which is dramatic and overly like stuff, it's still like they made you care about the characters. And now we have to watch all those stupid 3 seasons of Bear. But it made me like think about, in terms of like, it kind of made me have a very interesting conversation with my mom, because right now like because she's writing and she's not really satisfied with her writing. She's like, I don't have that something that like I don't like, I'm writing but nothing creates that feeling in me. Like I don't care. Like she way too dramatically way putting it, she's put it like I don't have like the reason to write.
I see.
Yeah, so and I was like, just write. Like for me it's like doesn't make any sense, just keep writing. Like you're professional, keep writing your shit. But then I realized like the bigger part about kind of like storytelling is that in order for figure out how to make other people care for those characters, you first of all have to care about these characters, all these storytellers, about this storytelling, right? So it's like a weird like catch-24 is that 22 sorry 24 I don't know.
This is the next one.
It's the next catch.
Yeah.
It doubles.
Catch 24.
22 is that is that you have to like care for the things that for those characters, or care for what storytelling that you're doing in order to kind of figure out, use multitudes of formulas in order to make other people care for it. And for me it's like make me realize like my mom's kind of issue, right? Because she just doesn't have that, like she didn't figure out what is she writing that she cares about. Right. That's why people attribute to like muse or whatever, like this that's live thing that is like ephemeral, like exists, amorphous thing that like almost have its life on its own, and it comes down to you, and you just like,
and all of a sudden
you know what you want to write about. This is like subject, what makes you care, and you trying to with all your skills and like techniques and your ability as a storyteller make other people care. But regardless, and it's like maybe really like coming back to TAFF is that in also like moments where you like meeting with those I guess creatives, you kind of even just being in that area where people converse in that way, like about like art making, storytelling and things, it's like sparks ideas in you, and sparks thoughts in you that it's actually propels, like creates interesting perspectives. And that's what I'm saying is that like I really like those perspectives, you know. And then it's like, and I felt like if there were more open, or more, maybe it wasn't in English or something, multitudes of reasons, but I felt if those moments of like retrospection or like perspective came more to me, I'll be like, oh my god, this is amazing, right? And that's I was like, oh, that's why you go to like to those events, because I feel like that's why they bring out like people at the end of those like screenings and block of those non-stop short films, couple of directors, and then they like asking questions, and like that's why you're supposed to, that's where I think in order to create that sense of retrospective and deeper understanding of what's happening. And it's like I'm just saying, it's like kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of floating what I'm trying to say, but it's like I feel like it's really valuable. There's something really valuable as a creator, because there is one aspect where you like watch a bunch of shorts and you're like, oh shit, I want to make more stuff
you get
now.
kind of inspired.
But for me, it was like the most interesting was that the retrospective. Like for me, it was most interesting like the people talking about the work rather than the work itself. Because a lot of it I did not vibe with. Like a lot of it just like I'm just what the fuck is this?
Tends to be more experimental.
Yeah, but like sometimes experimental is good.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But
because it's such an array, right? Like it's such, because you go, the spectrum is massive. You go from like stuff that's completely in like your field of taste, let's say, to stuff that's completely outside of your field of taste.
Exactly.
And I think both are great to have exposure to.
Yeah, because some of this you got like, this shit I don't.
I don't want to make. Or you could be like, wow, this, I didn't understand anything that happened, but they use this like one line technique. Yeah. Or they use this like one like overlay paintbrush kind of thing, and it was really interesting just for this. Everything else terrified me, and I never want to look at it again. But there's just that one moment, so that's also kind of could be like a worthwhile.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was like really interesting, that aspect of like that festival. Like where you like, because it's really experimental, so it's like, but also like the desire for a bit more retrospection, a bit of more like understanding, and like thinking or presenting about work and stuff. And another aspect is actually continuing on the path of talking to my mom about the like not having this like care for like that inspiration, that muse, is that it's really much easier to be professional because when you're
Oh,
professional,
definitely,
you
yeah.
work for somebody,
Else, yeah.
and you can kind of like, you're just creating for them.
Yeah, yeah.
So you just like a kind of like a professional, and you're just creating shit, and they decide if it's good enough or it fits within like their muse,
Yeah,
basically, right?
definitely.
And that's why it's like, it was interesting moment where there's recognition about like a creator as an artist and creator as a professional. I kind of like thought about it a long time ago, I think when I was in school, but it was something about this like creating for yourself versus creating for other people. And it's like when you create for other people, it's so much easier for me, like emotionally,
Right.
because I'm like, I don't really, it's not that I don't care, because I just want to be a professional and perform at the best of my abilities to fulfill that obligation of giving something to like down the pipeline, something that they can use to produce the thing that they want to produce.
Best. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But there's a criteria. There's a person who like sees it and says yes,
and
no,
yes, no,
get
yeah,
fired.
Yeah.
You're fired.
Yeah. But when you're on your own, that's you, right? That's just you. You only have yourself to rely
Exactly.
on. Right?
And it's like it's a weird thing, because in those festivals usually it's also part of it is like the whole networking thing, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like a weird switch. I think maybe because Turku Film Festival is pretty young. It's only 9 years old.
9, yeah.
Yeah, so in terms of festivals, it's pretty young, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, and so also besides the fact that Finnish like industry, animation industry is slowly building and having that growth spurt from like very like independent artists, kind of like those collaboration spaces to like a commercial animation production, that it is like a now kind of dual thing going on, which is like a professional artist versus also like independent artist.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's like happening at the same time, because you have like a group of, well, like a generation that's growing up on a lot of commercial work, right? Like commercial animation, like Pixar, Disney, all that stuff. So they see that, and those are the studios they want to work at, but that doesn't exist here. Like the studio and also the facility to teach them also doesn't exist. So I'd imagine like the people that really, really want it, they go and go learn it in the States or wherever, right? But then the people who are like, okay, like I have to stay here for various reasons. Okay, I gotta, figure out the best that I can, and then they kind of, I feel like based even on like your company or the past company you worked at, they kind of like found their people and like, this is like the stuff that we want to do. Like we want to do this commercial work or whatever it is, and we're going to do anything we can to try and do that. And they kind of built up over the years through like even this community of like festival people was part of that as well, right? So, and I feel like because all these, like Finland in general has like a nice like social system, right? That they're, there's some money floating around for artists to support cultural stuff. So I feel like through that and then commercial work, like advertisements and stuff, right? They slowly built up their kind of like hub, I guess. And then now are only now forming sort of the commercial,
like that entertainment aspect of
like animation, entertainment animation,
which is that's why I think they're bringing so much people from outside.
Well, they have to, because they don't have the local talent, right? Because they're just
but that's confusing to me, because technically they do, because looking at the works that sometimes produced, I'm like,
but I think it's like I think it's
gap
like the top
is really small, like.
Oh, between the two, I think it's more like the high tier stuff, like the seniors, right? Like, because they probably have like directors, like they have their people, let's say, because like say this is like a generation, like people right now, I guess there'd be like your directors, what, in 50s, something like that. So like
40s, or late 40s,
late 40s. Okay, So like, so those are the directors and professionals, and they probably have like a lot of young people, but I don't know what happened to the people in between, like who would be like the mid people, like, 'cause
they're probably working and they're not in this in here.
but like they're not, but they're not working here. Because
true.
that's what one of the directors was saying, is there's like a lack of like what's it called, like specialists, like specific technical skills in animation. So like, I don't know, like a colorist or like I don't know, like a layout artist who's very just like that's their thing. So there's a lot of generalists, like a lot of people who know how to do a lot, which makes sense because like the community is built on collaboration and making films together. And since it's so small, everybody has to wear all the hats all the time. It's like my studio too. It's like any indie or small team, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
But when you go over to, it's not even here. Even in France, it's so much bigger. The productions, right? So you have people who are just like, color is all they do, and they're amazing at it, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that's kind of what it hasn't gotten that big yet.
Yeah, but that's kind of interesting thing that I keep thinking about actually recently, is that the constant like migration of talent around.
Oh yeah.
Like, where is the most saddest place for like for talent or like for opportunities for work?
Yeah.
Like for me, I was just like for reasons unknown, probably just because you finished. It's like Finland kind of like brought me in quite a bit of times, but like, where is other places that it's like
there's probably tons.
Yeah,
right?
because it's like in a small city, they like slowly
exist
and they're
so,
developing.
Yeah, imagine much bigger cities.
Yeah, exactly. Like all the places in France and like, I don't know,
Anywhere,
Netherlands,
any
because there were
region.
some strong ones from Netherlands, like shows from
for
Netherlands,
films,
for films.
everywhere.
Belgium, like Spain,
Poland had
Poland,
some a lot,
yeah. So it's like that animation is everywhere technically, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like biggest ones in Canada and States, yeah, still. But it's like, it's really interesting, like seeing like animation field kind of slowly developing here, like just being at the like roots.
Yeah, actually, because like we really only seen it in Canada, and it's pretty big there already, right? So
It's
we
been
kind
there
of
for years.
yeah. So like now to see it kind of just starting to grow here, it's really cool, right? It's really refreshing because like also the festival, like if I'm gonna compare it to anyone in Canada, I would compare it to like the Ottawa OIF, Ottawa International Animation Festival, in terms of just sort of the kind of flavor, I guess, the vibe, because Ottawa tends to be a bit more experimental. It's not like Taffy. Taffy is more focused on entertainment, like yeah. Taffy's Toronto Animation Film Festival. But yeah, and just I think because of the size, like here just felt so much more intimate in the sense of like, wow, you're really kind of meeting people, and it feels like this is like a group of people that have been together a long time, and they constantly see the same faces coming out because every year they kind of like meet up once a year, and they like, I don't know, they do karaoke together, like everybody at the festival, not just, and obviously that speaks to how many people
small,
at the festival, but still like it's
I got sloshed on Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah, with they even have like a festival drink. They made a special drink that's supposed to be the theme of the festival, which is like, that's adorable. It's awesome. But you obviously Ottawa, you wouldn't see that at all because it's just too big, right? Like it's like a massive.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like sometimes it's like, it's weird because okay, on Ottawa it makes sense because it's like it's no, sorry, here it makes sense in the sense that like these two things like merging together, which is independent artist thing and professional industry, right? And you can see it like being like a weird combo now.
Yeah.
Because in that sense, in Ottawa or any type of festivals, one of the reasons festivals are made is like to showcase obviously all the like artistic stuff in the animation industry, but also to bring all the professionals together to network, find about jobs and opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So, and here it's kind of lacks that completely. There's no jobs and opportunities in a sense, right? Because it's like,
I mean, there always is, but it might not be right now. Like, it's a thing of like making connections to be like, okay, like if something, because there's usually, even when you go to actually sometimes you were lucky a couple of times when you went to the Ottawa Festival, but like here, it's more like, okay, like I see that you're interested and you have like a thing in mind of like, okay, if you end up building a production or you need somebody who does a specific thing and you happen to meet somebody who's local who does that specific thing and you met at a festival, that's kind of I feel like the feeling, right?
it's true.
You're not going to get hired there for sure because it's just, especially now in every industry kind of all over the world, right?
Yeah, but like you can like in Canada, from my experience, you can actually go to those festivals and be hired.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's more like also a place to gather as professionals.
Yeah.
And also the studio is looking for people in those events, right? And but here it's just like, it's kind of like slowly maybe it's gonna be like a thing.
Yeah.
Because there's still students here who have like this like a a little shark eyes, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like
Give me
is there a job?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's like it's not really here, there yet, right?
Mhm.
In that sense. So I don't know. It's just really interesting observing that in a different context of the festival, right?
Yeah.
In different space, in different country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's actually really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the tons of beer. Open bar was awesome.
It's crazy at a festival they have an open bar. Can you believe that? That's nuts.
I think it's
crazy.
not. I don't know. Maybe in Ottawa there's also open bar
Dude,
for
maybe for
fancy
only the
people.
special people. Yeah, I've never been. I've never been to that side of the Ottawa Festival. Maybe that's only like the VIP. Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah,
For
well,
the
I took
plebs
advantage
like
of
us.
all the open bar. Yeah, very proud of it.
Yeah.
And most of my colleagues too.
Yeah.
On Friday it was silent, just death.
In the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of that's my mostly experience with the Turku Animation Film Festival. I keep trying to say Toronto because it's tough.
It's spelled the
same
same.
way.
Yeah,
It's
TAFF.
only TAFF
It's
or TAFF.
Yeah, well, technically it's TAFF.fi because Finland. So if
Yeah.
you say it all together, it's Taffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think of Taffy because
Yeah.
of Toronto. So anyways,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It's great. It's a great little awesome film festival, and people are so awesome and welcoming. So if anyone has the chance, definitely
That's true.
get down here.
I'll apply for next year's screening if you making any films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're awesome.
Yeah. Are you making any films?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You know, definitely.
No.
No. What? It's so hard to make films.
Yeah.
It's so much work.
It's insane amount of work.
Yeah.
Honestly, like watching those people making films, kind of inspiring because you kind of want to make something.
Yeah, you always want to make
but
something.
also like, god damn, it's just too much work.
No, yeah, I just remember the lady because like someone asked them now, how long does it take to make this film, right? And it was a student who had made the film, and she's like, well, you know, I did it for like a year and a half, on and off, mostly working on it, but also.
I probably could have made it faster if I was just working just on this.
If I was working just on it, maybe
and it was
a year.
It was kind of abstract one, wasn't it? Like
no, it wasn't abstract. It was like the one with the dew.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
Oh, sorry, it was pretty short and kind of like
short,
show,
Yeah, anyways, but still, like, you think about it, like, just a dedicated year, like a year of your life dedicated. And we know, because we did our film, so.
Well,
I mean, we did it. You did a film too, though.
No, sort of.
I mean, you did. It was a film. But, and that took us, what, like 8 months, right? It's school term. 8 months?
Yes.
You took like 2 months or something. So, I mean, technically, you could do a bit faster, but then also working full time, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Bro. It'd be so hard.
Okay, thank you for listening to our rambling.
Yeah.
Cheers. I hope the sound this time is better.
It's better? Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Little improvements, hopefully.
Okay, bye-bye.